Welcome to round 2 of our Legacy League 11 top 8. We watched Reed beat up a poor small child named David last round. And now we're going to watch him take on Chris. So we have Omnishow on the left, still Jeskai Control on the right, and we still have Zach with us. Say something happy, Zach.
Hello, this is me. This is my happy voice. I heard that Chris actually destroyed or decimated, if you will, some poor soul.
Yeah, it was. I had Chris in the first round top 8 against me, and I'm not even sure I did a life point worth of damage against him. If we're being genuine. So let's get started here.
And we've got Chris on what?
Chris is on Omnishow. That's what I'm going to call it. I know it was show and tell, and he put the tracks in against me. So
A classic.
I can't be confident that he has sneak attack in his deck, but he certainly might. Everyone, make sure you have your eyelids stapled open with the lightning fast pace that Reed has here. You might miss it. You might miss it. Okay, we got fetch lands, normal legacy gameplay. I'm guessing this is an end of turn surveil. Beautiful. Hedge maze.
Love it. Surveil lands, such good value. Great addition.
I think they're a little bit stronger in decks like this, because especially like this matchup, right? You're not going to do something turn 1 against the control deck.
Right.
Yep.
And then okay, beautiful. They have decided to keep the life counter in vision this time around. Love to see that.
This is Reed asking, like, hey, can I move this life counter? And then my stupid voice in the background. But I didn't think about that it should just be flipped upside down. Doesn't look too bad, though.
No, I think we can follow along well enough.
Yep. More invigorating gameplay of fetching. Looking at Chris's hand here, I don't recognize a single card, so that's cool. Okay, I got a better view that time. There's a Veil of Summer, maybe two stock ups and an Emrakul at least.
I do love stock up. That card has stolen my heart, specifically in mono blue painter. But everywhere it is welcome.
Do you like it enough to make this deck seem not like the enemy?
Omnitel? Absolutely not. That's the clear villain. Everybody knows.
I didn't know if you ever played much of the Final Fantasies or 7 in general.
No, I certainly don't get
Okay, we got a Brainstorm from Reed's side. I'm going to turn this down just a little bit. Whoa! Let's see the news for today.
The summon itself
Okay,
Flash.
and this is, I mean, this is fully known. They know what they're playing. It's not open deck list, but per se. But Reed knows what Chris is on, so he's trying to get rid of these bad cards and get some good cards.
Oh.
Okay, cycling a Veil. I'm guessing we just needed a land drop here.
That would be my guess. Either that, or if I'm Reed, I'm very spooked, because that is a good thing to have when you're actually trying to push through the combo. Looks like Chris is passing turn, so he must have been searching for said land drop, as you mentioned. Do you think he remembered to put them all in the deck?
Yeah, I don't know if he knows that he can play a land every turn. That's allowed. Force pitching Cunning Wish.
Looks like he's found a source for these extra cards that are not lands. Love to see that. Little Teferi, well-known fun hater. So
he's one land off, but he's all dressed up, ready to go. But he's got, it looks like a Veil, a Show and Tell.
That's where you just feel like the handsomest man at the table. You know, when you get to cast Spell Pierce or Spell Snare, wow, do you feel intelligent.
Read just 2 more, man. That's all you needed.
Looks like Chris has third land in the form of Lorien Reveal.
Does not have another Surveil land here. I don't think we have cantrips or anything left. I think we're just trying. And I'm guessing this is going to be stock up into stock up next couple turns.
Is this a Surge foil? Is that what I'm seeing? Or is it just the...
The Danzels are partial to the Fallout set.
Oh, okay.
And so my best guess is this is a Surge Foil Fallout basic.
It looks beautiful on screen. Big fan.
It does look really nice. Chris does not like foils, So this must be Josh punishing him. I am always a little bit shaken when Chris plays a Prismatic Vista, because you can always assume Chris is on some kind of combo deck, and Prismatic Vista is not very commonly a combo card.
Oh, do I think I agree? There's plenty of combo decks that play basics.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that.
Insert Mountain plus any Blood Moon.
Yeah, you should
Easy.
play Prismatic Vista in those decks, you goofball.
I know.
Okay, we're to the point where it's gonna get exciting for Chris. He's got that 3 mana, and his deck is just full of 3 mana spells. Right? He's got multiple stock ups in hand, at least one show and tell, if not more than one.
And this is probably where he's more favored, right? Reed has to find a way to put the pressure on. He's got this Wrath of the Skies wasting away in his hand, gonna do nothing all game.
And I think
Probably just.
I think a Swords and a Prismatic too.
Prismatic ain't gonna do it.
Oh, maybe 2 swords. Okay, fetch lands. Does he have a brainstorm? Did you say that? Did you mean that?
I said it'll become brainstorm fodder.
Sure.
Yes.
Yeah, I'd say advantage bar is heavily towards Chris right now because he's just setting up perfect stuff. It took a while to get here. I feel like if we had land 3 on time.
It's like an Emrakul in hand. Do we know if Reed is playing any Caracas?
We don't know, no. He's already played 2 Teferis.
So it's going to be pretty tough.
What is this? Is it just a draw 3? Love that.
He says like 3 cards, please.
Okay, so I'm seeing Show and Tell, Emrakul, the One Ring.
And then did you say there was a Veil?
I think that green card's a Veil.
Pretty sure there's a Veil, yeah. So looking pretty good for Chris currently.
But I think what he's worried about is maybe there's just no answer. Like if it bounces the Emrakul, he just loses. This is what his thought process is. Although maybe he's just being tempted by the stock up mistress, right?
Very well could be. I feel that Chris also typically plays a little more conservative with his combo decks.
Sure.
A little less roll of the dicey.
He has the Cunning Wish, so if he finds an Omniscience off that, he just wins. Where now I think he has the ability to put Emrakul into play.
Chris says, I have something to share with you. Do you want to find out?
Reed goes, here's my present.
I have this 1 mana Moonfolk creature.
What'd you bring to class? Oh, that is an Omniscience. I didn't recognize that art.
I don't even know what that art is.
That is the Judge promo Omniscience. Reed's counting his permanents? Maybe I'm not dead, he says. Just kidding. So game 1 goes to Chris. I think that's what should happen typically.
Oh, I agree. I think things would have to go horribly wrong. Chris would have to never find that 3rd land drop.
Because my experience from Reed's side is, they cast just show and tells on repeat until one of them sticks.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, down to a mull to 6.
Reed looks content to keep his.
I'm curious if they're making fun of where I park. Turns out that there's parking for the staff at the mall, and there's parking for the customers. And I was not aware of that for a very long time.
Would you say staff parking better?
No, much worse.
Oh.
But much worse in the back, as it should be, right? But no one ever told me that. And then I'm telling the story where they followed me into the mall, the parking police, if you will, and said, if you're going to work here, you need to park in staff parking. And I don't work there, to be clear, so I didn't feel like that was fair. Okay, Reed starting off, Tameo, really strong turn 1 play. Okay, Reed has...
Our Blake special, right? Nice autograph.
Yeah. Do we think that Reed brought in Triumph, or was that main board?
I don't recall seeing it last match game 1 at all. So I feel like it might just be a threat he's bringing in to try to get these games over with as soon as possible.
Yep, get him dead, right? That's the whole game plan?
Yep.
Reed grabbing some tokens. I saw a Magus in his hand. That's what that red card is.
Okay.
I would not bring in Magus in this matchup, but I think that it's one of those things where if Chris doesn't know about it, he's gonna fetch a Hedge Maze and he's gonna have an Ancient Tomb, and he might get got by it.
Sure. And it could just be that Reed has that many bad cards, right?
Yeah, I mean, you don't want your Wrath of the Skies, you don't want your Prismatics, your Swords, Solitudes. I'm sure he had those last time. Did not flip his Tameo. Here's that Hedge Maze again. I'm going to turn this down again so we can get out of Danzel's story.
As riveting as I'm sure it is.
It is good. I did warn everybody on Sunday that Blake and Josh talked during the whole thing, because we've been there for, I don't know, Reed's play. We've been there for 4.5 years.
Yeah.
Do you just jam it here?
One. And the mountain was just played straight up, right? No fetch or anything crazy.
Fetch. No, he flooded Strand, got the island. He's got a Plains in hand, so this is gonna. Assuming that Chris doesn't force the Magus, it's gonna be pretty good here.
Yeah, hear me out. Being up a game on a mulligan, he has to have the. I mean, unless you're worried about Force of Will, I don't know what else Chris has if he has Force of Will. I think if I have at least one permission spell to go with it, I jam. Otherwise, I'm content to just keep drawing cards like Chris has chosen.
Well, and I don't know if Chris has it, right? But
I know. Yep.
It looks like there's a show and tell and maybe nothing to put in.
I see Force of Will, Brainstorm, at a glance.
But, I mean, because you have to assume that Reed is now prepared for this, right? He knew what Chris is on, but now he has cards in his deck that actually interact.
Yep.
And I know Chris has at least an island, or at least he did before he just stocked up, so he should. So this is probably fine, unless I saw his cards wrong.
I can't quite see. I'm trying. Okay. Chris says that's okay.
Yeah, that's an island on top. Okay.
Perfect.
Oh, we're passing. Yeah, so I think we just have no creature
threat
or threat to put in.
Sure.
Oh. So in Reed's hand is one of my favorite cards is Meddling Mage. Very good in this matchup.
Ooh.
I'm not sure that anybody's played it in 10 years, but that's okay.
That's a sideboard card for sure. What do you think inspired him to put that in the sideboard? What do you think he was worried about?
So he does know that Chris plays... Oh, I doesn't want to jam it. Do we have a counterspell? Is that why? We don't. We have a Force. Oh, so that's a blue card for Force. I see. I mean, Chris has gone through phases, right? He goes through and plays Storm for a long time and then plays Doomsday. And I don't think he's played Show and Tell too much lately, but he's done that before as well. So Doomsday's pretty... I don't know if Reed was next leveling, because like, who would assume that Chris beats me, right? How crazy.
That would be impossible.
But really, really good card against Chris.
Yeah. And as you mentioned, this is looking pretty darn blue-centric, so you don't have to worry about guessing, am I supposed to name the sneak attack? Am I supposed to name the show and tell? You can pretty comfortably just cast it for the one you want.
And I'm going to guess that Chris isn't playing. I don't think they have a Eureka. Okay, I've drawn from the clue. Again, just looking for a different blue card that's not the Meddling Mage. Found one. And I don't know if Chris has anything to put in.
I think he's just getting those counters and stuff out of his hands. That's pretty good.
Unless that card in his hand is an Omniscience again that I don't recognize, that bottom one. It totally is. That bottom one's an Omniscience.
But after that, he doesn't have any... He's got 2 Force of Wills, Spell Pierce.
Yeah, I'm interested. Yeah. I'm interested on why Chris didn't force it back. So maybe he has another show and tell. That is a show and tell. Okay, so he's gonna do it again next turn. That makes sense.
That would be my intuition.
This is in Minneapolis. Oh, he's gonna have to. Do you have another force?
He does. He'll have to get rid of the show and tell. in order to do that?
Omniscience.
Oh,
So
the
now we're back.
omniscience.
Now we are down to draw something relevant.
Gas. That's all he wants here is gas, gas, gas.
That last card is a carpet of flowers. I figured it out.
That card actually just says, put into play, defeat one Zach Craig.
That that top card is either Veil of Summer, the other one he has, or he drew Shared Summons, which is the other green card they sometimes play.
Shared summons. Is that 4 mana? No.
I think it's 5 or something. And I also I don't know if it's main deck. I don't know why it would be, but it totally might be. So, well, I don't know. I'm just guessing.
5 mana. Is Reed looking to draw cards?
I just drawing 3 cards here. Just kidding.
He says, just kidding.
Not today.
Pump fake.
Okay. Stock up number like 6 for the match.
Oh my goodness, this card is just so strong. I love it.
Oh, we're not seeing anything we need though. One Ring's good here.
A lot of lands and permission. Okay, the One Ring's great. Love that.
That's second carpet in that stack, but he's not gonna have green mana because of this Magus. So I think normally he wouldn't care, but right now it's kind of frustrating.
Take a land with it, or you're just gonna take Ring and permission?
I think just Ring and permission.
Okay.
That's a Veil, okay.
Because we notably still don't have our second blue source, so that means this Force of Negation is gonna almost have to be a 2-for-1 out of your Veil. Meanwhile, Reed is just piling on card advantage.
Notably, Reed with his clown shoes and his red nose has a swords pouches in his hand. Maybe he wants to make sure he's above 15 towards his own Magus.
Maybe he wants to get rid of the Magus when he's ready to play non-basic lands that help him.
Yep. That could be. Reed has okayed all of the abuse, by the way. Okay, so now we're at that part of the game where Reed just needs to not die. And he's looking for an answer to something, because right now he can answer just a blue spell. So I think the goal here is I need like Force of Wills or things. And Tamio...
So 2 Force of Wills, I believe.
Yeah, and I think that's his logic here, is that this flips Tamio. You could have just drawn 2 with your mana, with the clues. Mm-hmm. But I don't hate this play. Okay. That's a really, knowing Chris's hand, right? That's a very expensive Force of Negation.
We see Ancient Tomb.
Yeah, he's just jamming this.
Can I cast a One Ring?
Doesn't draw and respond. I mean, yeah, no blue card in hand, right? So if Reed had blasted that Force last turn, he'd have those cards in hand.
Mm-hmm. Notably, though, Chris is at 7 lives. One Ring's a little dangerous. What just I missed?
He drew a Hull Breacher.
I
think he was in a lot of trouble when that One Ring resolved, and then he drew that Hull Breacher. That's a draw right there.
Oh no. Oh no.
Chris says, I want to give Reed 1 treasure. Thank you. You can't tell, but Chris is a very reactive man. He screamed right there, cried a little bit. It's fine. Okay, we got a preordained. So now, so many dead draws.
Yeah, I don't foresee a very easy way to dig yourself out of this. I can't imagine blue-green show and tell well known for its removal.
Nope. And Chris says, I'm done.
Let's try game 3.
Okay, game 3. Looks like we're on 7 on both sides. Chris Prismatic for an island, presumably.
Says, fool me once with your Magus. Shame on you. Fool me twice. Shame on me.
Both players in the semifinal ripping playmats that are not Magic related, notably.
Oh, the other one's Yu-Gi-Oh! Okay.
I don't know what the last one is. I have no idea. I don't know what Knights of the
It's
Round.
clearly Knights of the Round Tournament.
I don't know what that is.
Which is, I I know reading is definitely not your specialty, since most times you just pretend to read on airplanes.
No, Reed's the second guy. Easy mistake to make.
Oh.
So we're at 1-1. I didn't actually update this, huh? 1-1. You can't see this. There's a record.
I believe you.
Same development. Tamiya turn 1 for Reed. Chris unlikely to have any removal for that at all.
Mm-hmm.
How often do you reach over when a Tamiya attacks you and grab your life total pen?
I would like to tell you that it is not every time, but it is actually every single time.
I agree.
I've almost convinced myself to just start rewriting the numbers so I can tell myself it was okay that I spent time moving my arm.
It's just the LSV pen trick, but on yourself.
Cross out 20, write 20. Easy.
Reed's just looking for permission still. It has some.
See, Red Elemental Blast, a land, and what was the other card? I didn't catch it.
Snapcaster Mage.
Oh, a classic.
Plateau. You should hear Blake just absolutely scalding mad at Reed for playing a Plateau. I did talk to him about it. We had this discussion last time. There's no Mystic Sanctuary. And Dan's on the background just said, Jeskai staple Plateau. I'm less mad at the Plateau if there's no Mystic Sanctuary.
Oh, sure.
But Mystic Sanctuary is so good.
Yeah, it's like when you play the one Badlands in your Grixis decks, right? Or the Taiga in your Jund decks. It's a necessary evil, but it always feels so bad when you draw that one.
At least the Badlands is appropriately named. So we're looking at Omniscience and Atraxa, Stock Up and Veil of Summer, and maybe a Lorien Reveal. I can't tell what the second to last card is. So Chris just needs Show and Tell.
And he's got all sorts of threats, and it's just a matter of how worried is he about this one open mana. He does go find Forest, love that. Again, playing around the Blood Moon, the Magus of the Moon, which is just that nice little... Hold on. Reed says, no cards for you. I draw the cards.
I agree with that play, by the way. I think you blast that 100% of the time.
Oh, huge fan of using Power Blasts aggressively.
But what I struggle with is, like, he has a force negation, right? Say he didn't have the blast. Do you force that spell? And that's where I struggle. I have no idea what you're supposed to do. It's hard to say.
I think it just depends on the context of your hand, right?
Yep, I would agree. That's the kind of card. It's like Tamiya, right? Force a Tamiya. Feels terrible, So we have a Cunning Wish. The second card's a Lorien. Pretty confident.
Yes, I agree.
So interesting that we didn't go find a land.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe there's a Cunning Wish target he wants? Cunning Wish is just instant, right?
That is what I was going to ask.
You can go look.
Let's look it up. Let's see if he casts it before I find out.
Cunning Wish is just an instant. Choose an instant card you own from outside the game. Cards that I've seen Cunning Wish get that are not just the typical Firemind's Foresight or Shared Summons. There's I can't think of the split second Stifle effect. Trick Bind, maybe?
Oh, that is beyond my pool of knowledge.
I think that's what they usually do, but Reed's developing his game plan like normal. Cards that are really good against him. But realistically, Chris does not actually care what Reed does. Just how hard is he trying to stop him?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Reed's dead to himself if he can't find this Show and Tell.
Okay, so Chris cycling end of step.
So I think he had plans for his 3 mana.
Yep.
And then has decided those plans were not worth doing. That's the only thing that makes sense. Or he fell asleep on his turn. Who knows?
Do you think it's the Narset that put a wrench in the plans, or just seeing Teferi off the Narset down tick?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure what he has in his sideboard or what he was looking for. Maybe he'll tell us on Sunday.
And maybe it was something as simple as, because it says go get instant, correct?
Yep.
Maybe he was just wanting to go get Veil of Summer, and seeing
Right.
Teferi just knows that kind of makes it a little less, well, and Narset, I guess, for that fact, a little less desirable.
But that's the beauty of Veil of Summer, right? Because Chris can still, like, if he draws this show and tell, he can still just first spell cast Veil of Summer. It's an orange champ, right?
Yep.
But Reed's developing this very nicely. Going to be really hard. He has a Force of Negation, right? No, that is the Cunning Wish.
Does Reed have Counterspell in hand?
He does.
So Reed notably tapping all 3 blue sources.
Yep.
And I'm sure he noticed right away, right?
I would like to think so. That doesn't mean we can't accost him for it. Maybe he's colorblind.
Okay, so he finds Echoing Truth. Okay.
Proving Blake's point about the plateau. If that was a Volk, you wouldn't have this problem.
True. Bonus points for Blake.
Needs him. Yeah, I think Chris is on. He's just gonna have to find show and tells, which is already the problem, and then just jam them until they resolve. I think he's in some trouble here.
I would agree.
Same thing. We're both counting. 7 mana.
Maybe he's on the hard cast Emrakul plan, you know?
Where's his worm coils at when you need them, you know?
I suppose, how much is Omniscience? That's got to be before Emrakul at least.
10, I think.
Easy. 2 Ancient Tombs away, and we're just hard casting that Omniscience.
If he can cast and resolve this Omniscience, I think there's bigger issues. So we're going to see how quickly Reed closes this game out, because he has everything you would want. He's thinking hard.
What do you name?
I didn't hear it.
What do you?
I'm gonna guess show. What do I name? Probably
Yeah.
show and tell. It just turns into a card he's got to answer, right? And again, I'm under the assumption that Chris is not playing Eureka. But we played Legacy in Minneapolis a few months ago, whenever that was. My opponent went turn 1, Ancient Tomb, Pedal, Eureka.
Was that good enough?
It was.
Huh.
It was good
Crazy.
enough. But I don't think Chris and Josh own a Eureka. I could be wrong, but I've never seen them use it. So I think Chris passing is as much of a concession as I've ever seen.
I'm trying to glance. It does not look. Is there another land in hand still too?
I'm seeing no. It's a brainstorm, but he's got a Narset, and yeah, we're in trouble. Especially because we know Reed drew a Hull Breacher, countless cards. I don't need all these, do I? You just jam the Snapcaster Mage into play, right?
Just get some value for
Or
sure.
put the Hull Breacher, whatever card you want. But if we know Reed at all, he might just discard it for fun. Nope. Responsible. Not
Just kidding.
responsible. Discard for fun is what we landed on. 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 mana for Chris.
This is gonna be one heck of a fireball.
I can't think of any 9 mana spells.
9 mana? Oh,
Yeah.
there's plenty of goodies, I'm sure.
I did say Wormcoil when he had 7 mana. I know it's not 7 mana, but I don't know any 7 mana spells either.
I'm sure we could find some Eldrazi.
I would like to say that Chris is a Puritan and wouldn't play Eldrazi, but I'm wrong. So.
Uh-huh.
So I think Reed at this point is just going to start jamming some creatures. Or we should at least, and just end this game. man, I love control decks. This is so cool to me. Can you believe that many people hate this? Can you believe it?
It's an acquired taste. It's an acquired taste for sure. Not mine, but that's okay.
Well, take me aback. I think it was Josh Walters that said this, right? You do a bunch of stuff, and then you cast a Baleful Strix, and then you attack.
We're talking Grixis control.
Yeah, can't do that anymore because Baleful Strix is soft banned. But take me back, you know. Yes,
I mean,
another
I watched
trip.
8 types of Strixes and find plenty of success before, but that wasn't in
That's
the
true.
control.
But that was the gentleman's agreement that no one played Orchestra Masters that day, so we're fine. There's Chris holding his omniscience longingly.
1 soul land away from being able to slam it?
Just one mana, right?
I think so. Right?
I think he.
Oh no, he's at 9. You're right. You're right.
He might just try to chi face it into play. Like, what's Reed gonna do about it?
Hopefully nothing.
I have Chris in the fight between Reed and Chris, and as the judge, I'm not gonna stop it.
Gonna be pretty darn difficult for Chris to find success here. So
I do appreciate the non-concession though. It's noble.
it is far more patient than I would ever be. Holy moly, am I ready to pack it up pretty darn quick.
I've already driven the hour home at this point. And there's Chris showing his hand, and that'll do it for round 2.
Yeah, I would leave that table faster than people leave the Discord upon any confrontation.